4 bison. That's all it took. Not machines, not chemicals, not a team of scientists with million-dollar equipment. Just 4 animals released into a forest that had been silent for decades. A forest with no birdsong, no insects, no undergrowth, just dead trees standing like old bones. Rangers who worked there called it a graveyard. Some said it was too far gone, that nothing could bring it back. They were wrong. Within a few years, something extraordinary started happening beneath the surface of that dead land. Rivers shifted, soil changed, species returned that hadn't been seen in living memory. All because 4 animals were given one small piece of broken earth and left alone. This is what happened. The forest had a name, Białowieża, Eastern Poland, one of the last ancient woodlands in Europe. For decades, logging had stripped it bare, industrial machines, government contracts, thousands of acres left hollowed out. By the early 2000s, conservationists were watching it die in real time. Then a small team of wildlife researchers made a quiet decision. No announcements, no press conferences. They transported 4 European bison, the heaviest land animals on the continent, into the most damaged section of the forest. The lead researcher, a man named Tomasz Borowik, noted it in a field log. Just 4 animals, 1 dead zone. His colleagues thought it was pointless. But within the first winter, something in the soil started to shift. Nobody could explain it yet. The bison moved slowly at first, grazing, wandering, breaking dead branches, just being animals. But that was exactly the point. Every step they took compressed the soil differently. Their grazing stripped certain plants and let others breathe. Their waste, thousands of kilograms of it, began feeding microorganisms that hadn't been active in years. A soil biologist named Marek Kaczmarek came out to take routine samples. What he found stopped him cold. Fungal networks, dormant for over 20 years, suddenly reactivating. He took the samples back to the lab, ran the tests twice. The results were the same both times. The soil wasn't just recovering, it was behaving like a system that remembered what it used to be. And then the wolves came back. Nobody released them, nobody invited them, they just arrived. 2 wolves, then 5, then a full pack. They hadn't been seen in this region for nearly 30 years, but they followed the bison. Instinct older than any map. And here's where it gets strange. The wolves didn't just hunt, they changed how every other animal moved. Deer stopped grazing in open clearings. They shifted to the edges, the slopes. Those clearings, untouched for the first time, filled with wild grass, then shrubs, then saplings. Borowik's team set up camera traps across the damaged zone. What they captured over the next 18 months was difficult to process. Tree cover increasing, stream banks stabilizing, bird species returning in documented sequence. One local forester, a man named Henryk Duda, had worked that land for decades. He walked the zone alone one morning, came back and said nothing for a long time, then quietly told his colleague he didn't recognize it anymore. The forest didn't just recover, it rebuilt itself in a sequence nobody had programmed. No human hand directed what came next. The system simply remembered. Researchers documented over 140 returning species in under a decade. Plants, insects, birds, predators, all from 4 animals, and a decision most people thought was pointless. But here's the part that stays with you. The Polish government, years later, approved renewed logging in the same region. Borowik and his team filed formal objections. International conservation bodies got involved. It became a legal battle that ran for years. The forest had come back to life, and now men were arguing about whether to cut it down again. Some things never change, but the land had already proved something permanent. Given the smallest chance, nature doesn't ask for much. If stories like this are worth remembering, there's more where this came from.